About 30 years ago, I had a very busy clinic and I was working with people in a unique way that I developed in working with their body to help them resolve all manner of problems. And I stumbled upon the realization why people were struggling so much with things that should be really, really simple. And the realization was simply through interacting with people and seeing them struggle with things they shouldn't be struggling with, but they were. And the realization was people don't feel, and they don't know the difference between feeling and thinking. So your question is very important. That feeling is a physical sensation. Thinking is a thought process through which we describe physical sensations in the world around us. We talk about it. We think about ourselves. We worry about ourselves. We stress about ourselves. We complain about ourselves. When I feel angry and I have an idea that I shouldn't be angry, then I complain about myself being angry, or I try and change that. This is the thought process. But if I just feel the anger, there's no problem with the anger. If I'm sad and I don't want to be sad, it's thinking that says, I don't want to be sad. The body is not saying, I don't want to be sad. The body understands in a different way to thinking that that sadness is absolutely appropriate. You're sad for a reason. And being sad is, in that moment, a necessity for you to process the experience of whatever life has been for you and resolve from its effects. Resolve yourself of its effects. So feeling is a physical sensation. Thinking is a dead and numb thing. You cannot know you are cold through the word, I am cold. You cannot know you are hungry, or you cannot communicate the feeling of hunger and the understanding that you're hungry through the word hunger. It's empty, it's dead. It has no feeling to it. The word sadness has no feeling to it. It's just a description. So in this sense, thoughts are dead and empty and unfeeling things, whereas the body is alive and full of feelings, sensations. When we think about those feelings, we find ourselves complaining about feelings or wanting one feeling over another. So if you find yourself at odds with how you feel, is what you think about how you feel. And when you think about feeling, you mix feeling and thinking together. And when you mix feeling and thinking together, you create emotion. And emotion is a dramatization and an exaggeration of the pure feeling itself into a dramatized, exaggerated state that you find overwhelming. But what's making it overwhelming is your thoughts about that feeling. And your thoughts about that feeling are at odds with that feeling. If you are not at odds with the way you feel, you don't think about it, you just feel it. You're happy to feel it. So thinking and feeling, one is a live physical sensation. Thought is a moment-by-moment activity. It's only an activity. It's not a thing. It's an activity of the body, like speaking. There's no words. I'm making sounds through the breath and the shape of my mouth. The word is not a thing. It's something that I momentarily bring into sound. But it doesn't exist in its own right. And as soon as I stop speaking, the word disappears. It's the result of my action. Thinking is the result of pressure in the body, sensation in the body. And that pressure, that sensation in the body causes thinking and speaking and even action. To understand the difference, you need to sit quietly with yourself and feel the sensations in your body. In feeling the sensations in you, it doesn't matter if it's the most subtle sensation. You might feel numb. That's a sensation. Feel that numbness until you, over time, by just feeling and feeling and feeling, however you feel in your body, especially if there's pain there, because that's the thing you avoid the most. And it's through avoiding pain and distress that you've actually desensitized and forgotten how to feel. By overusing thinking to solve your problems, and it's not working, we have desensitized and simply numbed out to those problems, what we're seeing as problems. And the problems I'm talking about are also in themselves a solution. And that is, however we feel in the form of distress or pain or anxiety, whatever life effects are within the feeling of our body, these we need to feel. But feel it as a physical sensation and just let your thinking go on in the background. Keep coming back to the feeling. When the feeling becomes overwhelming, this is because without realizing it, you are mentally reacting to it. And this is emotionalizing. Come back to the feeling of the body again. And just keep coming back to the feeling in the body, letting your thinking go on. And eventually it will dissipate.